Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, I want to thank all of you for tuning in to the Eric Deters Show. If you haven't figured it out yet, those of you that are regular viewers and those of you that aren't, the whole purpose of my show here is to be different than what's out there. Instead of doing a real long show, instead of focusing on one topic, what I thought is missing is a quick hit of the news with a little funny commentary, so you get an overview of everything that went on. For those of you that don't have a lot of time, may not even watch any of the news, that's the whole purpose and that's the whole idea. I can always, when time allows it in my career, to go do a lengthy podcast, go back on the radio and all those. Right now, I don't have time for that. So I'm excited that you tune in, and I thank you for tuning in. Remember to subscribe to the Eric Deters Show on YouTube and or Rumble. In addition to that, check out ericdeters.com. So here we go. Donald Trump yesterday met with both leaders of the House and the Senate, the Republican leadership, to lay out an agenda. And I loved what I saw Senator Kennedy from Louisiana say on Fox News yesterday. He goes, "We cannot allow not being perfect to not do good." And that's the way it is. That's the legislative process. That's what makes me so mad about people like Thomas Massey. You know, he wants it, That's not the way the legislative process has ever worked in this country. And the bottom line is, if the Republican senators and the Republican congressmen do that, for example, Speaker Johnson, they set aside, except Massey, everything that they had a problem with Johnson for the greater good. And that's what they got to do. And I think they're going to do it. Trump is going to be on 9 p.m. tonight on Sean Hannity with an interview live in the Oval Office. That's going to be pretty cool. Coast Guard. Well, the Coast Guard general, 4-star general, got fired. And now the Coast Guard is doing what they should have been doing, which is helping on the border crisis and ports and everything else. Go Coast Guard. Trump said by the end of the day, he wants all the federal departments to have the full DEI thing resolved. Don't you love that? $500 billion for AI. It is a group of individuals, including Oracle, with Ellison, SoftBank, and I forget the OpenAI. And they're going to put together a $500 billion AI right here in the United States. It's going to be exciting. Senate, full strength. Moody, the Florida Attorney General, got sworn in for Marco Rubio's seat, and we had the swearing in of Husted for Vance's seat in Ohio. So the Senate is at full strength. Trump has already set aside the blocking of executions for federal crimes. Trump went after Putin a little bit yesterday. Said he better negotiate, or there's going to be sanctions relative to Ukraine. And Putin shot back a little bit about Panama Canal. The bottom line is Putin's in a very weakened state. Trump says troops to the border. I said that from the beginning of the border crisis, all the way back Bush 43. You go back and check out my radio shows. I'm saying I don't understand why we don't have troops deployed to protect our border. Not only is that a good use of our troops, it is our border, it's their job. But if you're a member of the United States military, you know, serving on the border is better than serving in Afghanistan, right? Your families and everything else. Thank God Trump's doing it. Oil prices fall. Why? Because Trump's going to say, drill, baby, drill. Who benefits? All of us. Trump begins with the price of gas at $3.12 after his first full day. Will Cain took over Neil Cavuto's spot at Fox News at 4 o'clock yesterday. Vivek Ramaswamy. There's reports that he didn't get along with Musk, and Trump didn't like the idea of what he said about Americans. Obviously, something happened. ICE, according to Tom Homan, has already arrested 308 really bad folks. Now, just think about this. 2 days ago, you had 308 really bad criminals roaming around, and now you don't. It's unbelievable. Trump went yesterday to a national service at the National Cathedral with Vance and had to listen to a homosexual bishop preach to him about the LGBTQ community. I mean, it was nuts. Trump didn't like it a bit at all. Across all the federal government platforms, the Spanish option is being removed. Trump, you know what he's doing now? He's going to make sure that the access to the federal government is across the board. If you and I need help, he's ready to give it to us. Hamas, they're already apparently back in Gaza, claiming control of the Gaza Strip. Trump says he doesn't know if this peace will hold. Here's what I think. They're going to get the hostages back, and then we'll see what happens. And Donald Trump has asked all of his federal departments to come up with a list of those federal employees that federal agency can live without so he can fire them. You know, the bottom line is Trump's already making our federal government leaner and meaner. Good for him. Coming up next, local news, where I've only got one topic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, one topic. All the schools are closed, except Pendleton County. Sabrina says her county are troopers, but everything place else is closed. Coming up next, Jamie Spindley in World News, where he lost in chess today again.
Hello again, the latest world news. Rescue teams in Gaza faced the overwhelming task of clearing rubble on the first full day of peace. Officials estimate over 10,000 bodies remain buried beneath the debris, highlighting the immense scale of destruction in the area. A Russian missile attack on Kyiv overnight left 3 dead. The strikes hit before air raid sirens sounded, with the central district sustaining the most damage. A large crater now marks the site near a business centre. In other news, the Sun's newspaper's publisher issued an apology to Prince Harry for invading his privacy and agreed to pay substantial damages. The settlement resolved a long-standing legal case just before it was set to go to trial in the High Court. And following a December plane crash that killed 179 people, South Korea will replace concrete barriers and upgrade runways safety areas at 7 airports. These measures come after a nationwide review aimed at preventing future tragedies. You're up to date on the world news. Stay warm out there. Coming up next, Sports Without Boundaries.
All right, here we go. Sports Without Boundaries. Nick Saban wants Deion Sanders to take the Dallas Cowboy job. Like Nick Saban said, he'd rather coach in the NFL himself than the NIL fiasco that's going on in college football. I agree with him. This is great. Paul Skeens, the Rookie of the Year, the flamethrower Pittsburgh Pirate pitcher. There was one defective rookie card. One person has it. You know who has it? An 11-year-old kid. This is funny. The Pirates have put together a package to where the kid would have like behind home plate seats for 25 years. Now, this is funny. Skeens' girlfriend, the beautiful gymnast from LSU, is offering a trip to the ballpark at a suite with her. You watch that 11-year-old, he's going to pick her. It's crazy. And the Hall of Fame announced the 3 people who made it to the Hall of Fame this year. Ichiro, you know, he deserves it. Sabathia, who was the great pitcher for the New York Yankees, and Billy Wagner, the Houston reliever. Congratulations to all 3 of them. Josh McDaniel is back as the offensive coordinator at New England. New England will turn it around. You just watch. Between Rabel and McDaniel, they'll turn it around. And the Jets apparently have offered a ton of money to Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, to be their head coach. And Djokovic is beating everybody, including Alcaraz at the Australian Open. I hope he wins, because it wasn't too long ago they wouldn't let him play because of COVID. Coming up next, pop culture. Here we go with pop culture. Billy Idol and Joan Jett are going to go on tour together. Now that's some rocking. If it's near Cincinnati, I'm going to go. Netflix added a whole bunch of subscribers, and they're jacking up their rates. I'll pay it. Day of the Jackal. If you haven't checked it out on Peacock, I started watching it last night. Couldn't stop watching it. It's a remake off the Jackal movie, but it's a series. And I am going to defend, and I want this to be a clip, because I want to defend Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' wife, girlfriend, soon-to-be wife, the way she dressed at the inaugural, including the swearing-in ceremony. I think she looked beautiful. I thought for her that was modest. I loved the color. I loved her outfit. The fact that she showed a little bit of cleavage, much less than she usually does, who cares? And poor Mark Zuckerberg looks over towards her, so they accuse him of looking at her cleavage. Well, who cares if Zuckerberg just went like that? Big deal. Zuck didn't do anything wrong either. So I am defending Bezos, Lauren Sanchez, and Mark Zuckerberg. I think she looked great. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.